Elden Ring Nightreign's main encampments are full of tons of medium difficulty enemies and bosses. They don't hold much in the way of secrets, but if you know where to go and you're quick about it, then they're a great source of easy runes, loot, and buffs. Hi everyone, my name's Diabutor, and today I'm going to show you what to do in Elden Ring Nightreign's main camps. Nightreign's camps have 3 different layouts. You'll find 2 or 3 different types of bosses in each of the layouts, but there are 3 physical layouts that you need to know if you want to be able to hit these really quickly. I'm going to call the first layout the standard camps. These will either have an Elder Lion or a group of 3 banished knights as the main boss. The layout of these ones is a little bit maze-like, but basically from the entrance, which you see in the bottom left corner of the screen, you basically just head forward to spot 1. There will be a knight of some kind there. If it's an Elder Lion, it'll be just a regular Godric Knight. If it's the Banished Knight camp, then it'll be a Banished Knight with a halberd that you have to kill as part of the boss fight. There's also 3 chests there at spot number 1. So once you're done killing the guy there, you can just make a right and circle around the camp, and that'll take you up to spots 2 and 3. Spot 2 will have the boss, so it'll either be where the Elder Lion is, or it'll be where the other 2 Banished Knights are, as seen in the intro of the video. And then in spot 3, you'll find a merchant, which is really good to stop at in case you need a weapon upgrade, or if you need some consumables or something. And there's also a chest there, which you can grab some loot out of. On the left side of the camp, you'll notice I made some circles. So that side of the camp is a little bit more complicated to navigate because there's a lot of walls and rocks in between them. If you have time and you're early on in the run, you can loot those for things such as, crates that have consumables in them. There'll be a couple chests that can drop weapons and consumables, and there will often be bow racks in case you need a bow and arrow or a great bow or something. So if you have time and you need the gear, you can go check those out. For the camps in general, they're not like super lucrative, so I recommend you just go hit the boss and then move on to the next location. There's really nothing like secret to find like in the churches or in the ruins, but if you need early stuff, then they're a good place to go. So you saw me run through the entrance, and straight ahead from it, this takes you to spot number 1. So you see here I'm struggling with that Banished Knight a little bit. The bosses in the camps are usually medium difficulty bosses, so you don't want to hit them like at the very start of your run. You want to hit them after you hit like level 2 or 3 and you're a little bit more prepared for them. But yeah, so I killed that guy, loot the 3 chests there, and if you go around the right, that'll take you up to spot number 3, which is where there's a merchant. If you were lucky and you found something like a smithing stone 2, then you can upgrade your weapons and stuff like that, or buy smithing stone 1s from the merchant to upgrade your starting weapon or whatever. And then if you go around from him, there's spot number 2, which has the remaining bosses if it's a Banished Knight, or it'll be an Elder Lion. And then if you have time afterwards, like I said, these aren't like super lucrative because it's just things like nobles that drop consumables or the occasional weapon. There's crates full of consumables, there's a couple wooden chests. There's nothing amazing here, but you can get like, a bunch of weapon passives and consumables in case you need them in this side of the camp. But if you don't really need that stuff, then I recommend you just kill the boss, talk to the merchant, and then move on to the next spot, because you get better stuff by doing that. Up next, we've got what I'm going to call the Desolated camps. These ones have basically the same layout as the standard camps, except that they're in ruins, a lot of the walls are burned down and stuff, so they're a lot more wide open. These will either be flame chariots if it's a fire camp, or there'll be a frenzied flame troll as the boss if it is a madness camp. These ones are also really straightforward to get through. From the entrance, all you gotta do is just run straight forward, and I like to go in a counterclockwise loop around the camp. As you can see, I'm making lefts and going around it. I'll show why in a second, but this lets you really easily hit spot number 1, which is where the merchant's at, spot number 2, which is where 2 of the flame chariots will spawn, or if it's the madness camp, that's where the frenzied flame troll will spawn, and then once you go a little bit more around the corner from that, you get to spot number 3, which is where the final flame chariot spawns. You'll also see that there's a couple spots you can stop by along the way where you can get some loot. Like I said, usually not super lucrative, except in the case of the Madness camp. If you kill the NPCs and loot the crates and stuff here, you can get the Clarifying Boluses, which cure madness buildup. So if you're fighting the Equilibrious Beast, it's really good to get those boluses, and you can consume them to increase your madness resistance permanently, or hold on to them for the Equilibrious Beast fight, because he does a lot of madness buildup, of course. So here's why I like to go in a counterclockwise motion around the camp. So if it's a flame chariot camp, you'll see that the chariot in spot number 3 will stay still, and one of the chariots in spot 2 will stay in that general area. But The third chariot, so that's the second one that spawns in spot 2, it goes on a patrol, and I believe it goes in a clockwise motion around the camp. I could be wrong about this, I haven't actually stood around to watch it, but I'm pretty sure it moves around the camp. You can actually see that it's there in spot 3 next to the chariot that spawns there. So sometimes it's kind of a pain in the ass to find it. So since it's going in a clockwise motion, if you go in a counterclockwise motion, you'll run into it faster than if you try to follow its path. You feel me? So from the entrance of the camp, it's really simple. You just go straight forward, and you see there's not that many walls and stuff because most of it's burnt down. You make a right and you circle around the camp. I just passed by the merchant on the left there. You'll find one of the flame chariots or the frenzy flame troll in spot number 2. And here's a pro tip, in case you're not aware, you can jump up the flame chariots, and if you attack them at the top, you can stab into their port hole there and instantly kill them. Chances are you already know that because everyone does it, but in case you didn't, there you go. It seems like it's also easier to do if you go up the front of them instead of the back. So if you climb up their face instead of the back of their head, it's usually easier in my experience. And then keep going around. You saw I hit the miscellaneous loot there. There's like a chest. There's some crates and stuff like that. And then you will come to the other chariot in spot number 3. And once you eventually manage to fucking mount him, you will kill him. Once the boss is dead, if you really need loot, or if you need like clarifying boluses or whatever, you can loot the camp. If not, again, strongly recommend you just move on to the next spot. Speaking of moving on to the next spot, our final type of camp I'm going to call the tower camp. If you can guess why down in the comments, I will personally write your dad a letter explaining why he should be proud of you. This one arguably has the simplest layout. All you gotta do is just run around the camp in a U-shape uphill, and it'll basically take you to all the major spots except for spot number 3, which is at the top of the tower. Spot number 1 is where you'll find the merchant. He's just outside the walls of the camp, so technically he's a bit safer than in the other 2 types of camps, unless it's a red main knight camp, in which case you'll get shot at by the archer up in the tower with his rain of arrows, so be careful of that because that shit does a ton of damage. From the entrance to the camp, you can run uphill and that'll take you straight to spot number 2. If it is Leyndell Knights, so if it's a lightning camp, then there will be one of the knights there that you have to kill. From there, you can climb up the tower to get up to spot 3. If it's a red main knight camp, so if it's a fire tower camp, then there will be a red main knight at the top of the tower that you have to kill as part of the boss. And there will always be like 3 chests up in the top of the tower. They're the small wooden chests, but they have a decent chance to drop decent loot, so you may or may not want to check them out, even if there's no boss up there. After that, you can hit spot number 4. If it's a lightning camp and there's the Leyndell Knights, then the second boss will be there, and you can see the landmark there is the big broken trebuchet, so it's not hard to find. And then after that, you can head up to spot number 5, which is where there will either be the final boss enemy, which can be a Leonine Misbegotten, as in this picture, or it'll be the final Red Main Knight or the final Lightning Knight. And there's also a couple chests up there, which can drop some decent loot, and you probably want to check those out since you have to go up there to kill the boss anyway. So I didn't show the merchant in this clip, but he's on my left outside the camp there. So you run forward through the camp, go up to the tower. You can climb up the tower. It's a little tricky if you're not familiar with the controls. You have to jump, do the double jump, and then hold the jump button to mantle the wall. Just mashing the jump button won't do it. You have to jump and then hold the jump button. That one took me a little while to figure out because I'm an idiot. But anyway, so there's a couple chests up here. If it's a Red Main Knight camp, then the archer that shoots the rain of arrows will be up here. And here's a pro tip. If you have something like the rejection spell that does knockback, you can knock him off the tower to instantly kill him. From the tower, you can jump down. At spot number 2, there will be a Leyndell Knight if it's a lightning camp. If not, it'll just be some miscellaneous enemies and a little bit of loot. And then from here, you can run up the hill towards the trebuchet at spot number 4. There's other enemies and stuff to kill throughout the camp, so if you're early on, these are a decent source of runes. By the trebuchet, there will usually be an elite enemy, or in the case of the Leyndell Knights, it'll be one of the knights that you have to kill as the boss. And then finally, up at the top of the camp at spot number 5, you will find one of the bosses. In this case, it's a Leonine Misbegotten, and he'll have some boys with him, so make sure you're careful and don't get owned like I did just there. And I didn't open them in this clip, but there's also chests here at the top of the camp where you can get some decent loot in case you need it. So yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. Please leave a like, share the video, and consider subscribing because it really helps me out. My name is Diabudor, and I will catch you later.